Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the Frontline Changes Report. And a lot of crazy shit had happened over the past 48 hours. So let's gonna cover this one by one. A lot of changes in the front line. So let's go into the Kursk front first. In the Kursk front, in the western flank, where the Russians are conducting their main offensive, the Russian forces has been geolocated and show that they have captured Zeleny Shaik in this area here. So this caused some frontline change around here. However, they are unable to break out of this area here, as the Ukrainians have a very strong line just outside of Zeleny Shaik. So this is the current situation here. Further up north, there is frontline changes over at Novaya Sorokina. This is Russian forces attacking around this area here. So the geolocation of Russian forces there means that the Russians are advancing in this area here. So this is the first time we actually see the Russians actually appearing here since like forever. So another advance around this area south of Pogrebki, north of Staraya Sorokina. So that's the frontline change around this sector. So you can see there's already two in this area of Kursk. Then we move after this over in the southern flank. Major frontline changes based on Russian mapping. They have claimed these two pieces of area. So one is around the southwest of Fanasievka, where they claim the Russian forces have crossed the river, the Svel River, advancing. I should zoom in a bit so maybe you can see a bit clearer. So the northern part, they have crossed the river, the Svel River around here. This is Svel River. So the Russian forces crossed it and captured and gained a foothold over on this northern bank of the Fanasievka. Of course, the Russians have positions around at Fanasievka. So this is just a consolidation of positions around here as they probably going to push towards Kurilovka. In the south at the Pokrovsk region, as mentioned, frontline change previously, that the Russian forces geolocated. I believe that they're attacking southward. The Russian mapping claim this entire eastern part of Pokrovsk. However, they seem to have some kind of backtrack in their latest reporting, claiming that there are still Ukrainian presence on the eastern part of Pokrovsk. However, they did not show the detailed mapping. Probably they feel a bit embarrassed about this. So anyway, so take this claim as with a pinch of salt. This is just a claim. These two are just claims. So that's all from the Kursk front, and the total area captured in the entire of this front line by the Russians are 12.142 square kilometers. So you can see it's over here. So there's nothing at the Kharkiv front. The next frontline change is over at the Sinkivka at the Kupyansk front, and you can see it's extremely complicated, and there's an electric guitar also appearing around here. You can see the electric guitar appearing. There's a bit more. It be like it will start to play music. So this is one of the shocking one. This is one of the latest information geolocated by Crimea Caprice, and this is actually acknowledged by the Ukrainian mapping. Russian forces basically appeared in the middle of the not the middle, but the middle of the northern half of the eastern half of Kupyansk, and this is very shocking. And you can actually look at Deep State UA's mapping. They actually reflect this as a gray zone. They're unsure what the hell is happening. So what the latest mapping by the Ukrainians actually drew is that they actually claim this area here as firm Russian control. This area is captured by the Russian forces, and then they actually push all the way to this area here, causing a massive gray zone around this area. So based on our style of mapping, this is considered captured by the Russian forces. The entire line, the entire road, you can see this is a very, very straight road, and the Russian forces basically zoomed all the way down. This is shocking developments around in this area here. The Ukrainians, however, insisted that they have positions around Sinkivka. So this caused some frontline change in the south of Sinkivka. This area is pretty big. It's 4.27 square kilometers. This is the only change or advance of the front line that is actually in favor of the Ukrainians. Otherwise, the others are all pretty bad. Small ones like in the west of Sinkivka, east of Sinkivka, south of Vyshana. So this is the straightening of the front line with the Russian forces advancing, in this area here, straightening the front line. More significant among this, of course, is the one further up north a bit, where the Russian forces actually progress towards Kalinove. But Kalinove is on the other side of the river. So Russian forces fully secure all the forests west of Liman Pershi. So there is a high chance, in my opinion, that the Russians actually have already captured all of the forests near to Hulubivka, which is also how we actually have all these reports about fighting near Hulubivka. So this is what I think, and there's a high chance that the Russian advancement in the north of Kupyansk might actually be even further, given the fact that the Russians actually suddenly appeared this far south in the Kupyansk front. So this is a shocking development. And I feel like, even with all this geolocation and the mapping updates, the information is still pretty foggy. I still feel like the fog of war is still very, very, very thick. This is definitely not the complete picture of the situation around here. I've got a feeling that the Russians have a way more bigger advance that is even drawn on this mapping right now. So we'll just continue to wait and I'll see how this continue to develop around this area here. So these are all of the Kupyansk front. The Kupyansk, despite all this change, the total Russian capture is only 7.62 square kilometers, because this area here is pretty tight. It's 9 kilometers from the north to the south in the where there is a frontline changes. So very compact place, but very complicated geography. Ukrainians, of course, have the 4.27 square kilometers captured. So we move to the Pischany front. At Pischany front, there is Ukrainian mapping conceding grounds at Kolenikivka, showing that the Russian forces have captured all of this forest around Kolenikivka. So this is the only frontline change at the Pischany front, and this total frontline change is 4.63 square kilometers, with the total distance from north to south is over 3 kilometers in distance. So this is a very big amount of area that is captured by the Russian forces. We move further south. The next frontline change is over at Makiivka. This is at the Svatove front. The geolocation of Russian forces being shot at the end of this tree line invalidated all of this area here to be under Ukrainian control. So the Russians definitely have taken all of this area here. So this caused some frontline change in this area. The total area that I mapped around here is 1.23 square kilometers. So yeah, not very, very significant. This is basically just off Makiivka, only 600 meters away from the village. And the next frontline change, we jump all the way to the Bakhmut front at the Kurdyumivka. So over at Kupyansk, there is a shocking frontline. There's a shocking geolocation in the south. So in case you lost, this is Bakhmut, this is Chasivya, Konstantinivka, and this Kupyansk. So these are circles. Over at Kupyansk, Russian forces geolocated along the canal, and this means that the Russian forces have advanced into this area here. And based on the geography, I believe that they actually go down the canal from Kupyansk up northwest. So this is how I do the mapping. There are some pro-Russian mappers would have mapped it like this, and yeah, I think it's a bit ambitious. Think it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's most likely just like this, and so the distance between the geolocation to Kupyansk is 2 kilometers. So this is not impossible, 2 kilometers advance, but of course under fire might be dangerous. So we're not sure when did this happen. This advance by the Russian forces. So we'll continue to monitor. So the total area captured is 1.76 square kilometers. Over in the Toretsk, there is also updates. The Russian forces in one of the latest geolocation showed that the Russian forces have been geolocated west of the stadium, the Toretsk stadium, and which means that the Russian forces have advanced again in Toretsk. But this is also, of course, very, very small distance captured. We are talking about only like 200 meters of advancement. So it just shows how intense the fighting is in Toretsk. The slow advancement just shows that the Ukrainians are doing their best to defend Toretsk. And after Toretsk, the next frontline change is over at Pustinka. So over in the Pokrov front, this is Pokrov, and this is the Pokrov front, and this is a person, and there's smoking, and smoking is bad for health, so he died. Yeah, so he died. Yeah, so don't smoke. And over at the at this area here, the okay, so over the Petrivka, Yurievka, Pustinka, Petrivka, Yurievka, Novo-Alexievka, Kurakhove, Vishneve. So in this area here, Russian forces have advanced continuingly over from along the railway line to the north of Pustinka, and they have also moved into Yurievka. So from Novo-Alexievka direction. So these are two frontline change around 2 days ago. So these are from the 12th of November. So so this is the area that the Russians have moved. Not very, it's pretty significant, but it's not very big. It's around 1.3 kilometers. Yeah, it's actually pretty big. So that's the area around Svatove region. So these are all the frontline changes at the Pokrov front. The total frontline change at the Pokrov front is 1.2 square kilometers. Not very much. Over at the Kurakhove sector, there's a lot of frontline change, and of significance is the capture of Ilinka. So the Russian forces have fully captured Ilinka, and they have already pushed out towards the west, to the east of Berezki, as the Russian forces fully captured all of this area here and the northeast of Ilinka. So this entire area has been captured. It's been the full capture of Ilinka is confirmed by both pro-Russian and pro-Ukrainian sources. Both acknowledge the capture of Ilinka. So this is Ryba. Let me see. So I need to copy this in. I just now forgot. Yep. So if you can see the information, Deep State UA noted that the Russians occupied Ilinka, and the pro-Russian sources said that the Russian forces liberated Ilinka. So both sides confirm this information. The total distance from this furthest point to the shore of the reservoir is 3.8 kilometers. So the next move from Berezki is merely just 300 meters from the furthest point of the mapping to the center is around 1.76 kilometers. So this is the next target by the Russians, Berezki. So south of the Kurakhove, the Russian forces also make advances around here, particularly into Dane, and they have also seemingly maybe secured the northeast of Dane, according to the Russian sources, and these are all huge advances. There's also a strengthening of the front line east of Kurakhove, according to the pro-Russian sources as well. So these are all claims. There is some confirmed captures over in this area here. This is by Deep State UA. So otherwise, this is all the advances in the south of Kurakhove. The distance from the southernmost point of Kurakhove to the center of Dalny is around 3.3 kilometers. So that's give you some sense of the distance that we are talking about, and the advancement from the Dalny all the way to the furthest point is around 6 kilometers of the frontline change. So yeah, so that's all from the Kurakhove sector. The total area captured is 10.5 square kilometers by the Russian forces. Over in the Uspenivka sector, Russian forces have made advances in this area here as the Russians continue down the highway or the main road towards Uspenivka on the west of Trudove. So this Uspenivka, as the Russians continue to push in this direction. So and the Russians could potentially also attack Constantinople with this attack as well. So this is actually pretty significant. This is the only frontline change right now, as the Russians have hit the Ukrainian main defense line. So advance is going to be pretty slow until they break the Ukrainian line again. So this total distance traveled from the last point to this point is around 3.14 kilometers in distance, or 3.15. Total area captured is around 3.49 square kilometers. So this pretty big amount of areas in this, just on the Uspenivka region. In the Velyka Novosilka sector, the Russian forces have launched not just the offensive. The Velyka Novosilka offensive has started at Novodarivka and Rivnopil, and there is now information that the Russians have now attacked on the other side of Velyka Novosilka around the Novodonetsk region, and there is some frontline change in the Novodonetsk region, with Russian forces capturing some grounds around this area here, west of Novodonetsk. So the total front line is in the straight line is 7 kilometers, more than 7 kilometers long. So it is a pretty long front line, as the Russians are now starting to push the entire of the Velyka Novosilka sector. On the other side, the Russian forces continue to make some advance around Novodarivka, with the capture of this west of Novodarivka, and there is also geolocation to confirm that the Russian forces have also expanded the control along this river area here. So along this area, so the distance of advance is around 800 meters from the last point, and from this geolocation to the furthest point to the west of Novodarivka is around 900 meters. So and the total area captured at the Velyka Novosilka sector is 3.53 square kilometers. So this is all the frontline changes over the past 48 hours, the past 2 days. And so let's see what is the total area that is captured by the Russian forces. So some people like it, so I just might as well just do it. Oh, I just realized I didn't change the title. My bad. So it's the 13 and 14, and then which means it's the 994 to 995, and is this the frontline changes report? Yeah, I forgot to change the title. Sometimes this happens because I'm getting a bit tired. It's been a long day. I didn't have enough sleep. So let's count. 12.142 plus 7.62 plus 4.63 plus 1.23 plus 1.76 plus 0.07 plus 1.2 plus 10.5 plus 3.49 plus 3.53. So it's the Russians over the past 2 days, the past 48 hours, have captured 46.17 square kilometers. So I will just put it in here. So 46.172 square kilometers. So this is the frontline changes report. Thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments, about these changes or the format of the reporting, or anything. So thank you for watching. See you guys in the next update.